top 2 in second half net rating this season and bottom 2 in first half net rating, which is almost hard to wrap my head around just how dramatic a difference that can be. What does that tell you in terms of what needs to happen in the first half? Because clearly there's something that you guys can turn on that is extremely effective in second halves. Is it just a mental thing to first half's effort, preparation? What goes into that?
Great question. We were talking about that the other day about how I think there's only one time in the first 16 games this season that we've won the last 4 minutes of a first quarter and first 4 minutes of a second quarter. Toronto at home. Every other game, that 8-minute stretch, which coincides usually with Nikola being out. So there are a lot of nights, Bennett, where I think we actually get off to good starts. I think we're actually playing well. And then we have that stretch, 4, 6, 8-minute stretch where we just, the bottom falls out, if you will. And then obviously now you're playing kind of catch up and trying to get back into it and even things out. And the second half, for whatever reason, has been better. I think one of the crazier stats for us this season, that in our wins we average 128 points a game. Our losses we only average 104. So that's a huge differential. And obviously, yes, you got to make shots. People would think, oh, your defense. Right now, to be honest, our offense is carrying the day. For us to average 128 points in our wins and shoot lights out, and then to only score 104 in our 7 losses, that's you got to find ways to be a lot more consistent in that regard. But 16 games in, still some weird lineups, different things going on with players out. So still trying to figure it out. But it'd be great if we could play a lot more consistent, closer to 48 than we have, because there have been some really sharp. We like gentle rolling hills. We've had some really severe peaks and valleys. That won't happen till we're healthy, because while you're waiting for an Aaron Gordon and different things like that, you're forced to try some different things. And so we're 9-7 and a lot of room for improvement.
So you won your last 2 road games. What can you bottle up there, bring here today?
Well, I don't know what it is about bottling up. Obviously, L.A., the second game in Memphis. We're at our best when we defend and run. We've been a really good running team, but in our losses we don't run at all. And that usually means because you're not getting any stops. We couldn't run against the Knicks because they put up 145 points. On 60 from the field, they made a million threes. They had 45 assists. That's a crazy number. So that's not going to allow you to be an effective running team when you take it out of the net all night long. But for me, it's really, and I told our players this yesterday, not just a Knick game, but for us, no matter who we play, Utah tonight, right? They got, Larry's out. I think Collins is out. Well, we're getting our ass kicked in the paint. We're 28th in paint defense. We're 26th in fast break defense. We're 20th in second chance points allowed. That has to, we have to shore that up. It can't be the same story every night where, we gave up 60-something in the paint, we gave up 20-plus in transition, and we gave up, 15-plus on the glass, because that's not going to lead to you winning consistently in this league. So we have to be, a lot better in those 3 areas, and that's what we have to focus on right now.
Michael, you're the fastest pace of play team after a miss or after a turnover in the league. What is allowing you to do that?
Well, Nicola's athleticism. He's really worked on his speed. I was joking. He's writing it down.
If you were going to keep going, I needed to know where it was going.
That was good. It's really funny about that. In my 10 years, this is by far the fastest we've ever played. And, I've always, been known to say that pace of play really has no correlation to anything. You're just playing faster. It doesn't mean that you're going to win, because there are some great teams that play slow, and there are some great teams that play really fast. But for us, the way we're built, I think we need to play faster. That's something that we made a point of emphasis going into the season. We're trying to avoid having to play 48 minutes of half-court basketball. We need to get as many easy baskets as possible. And the easy one would be, we got Russell Westbrook, who plays with great pace, make, miss, whatever. But I think Christian Brown, he's maybe top 5 in the NBA in fast break points per game. He's running the floor. Peyton Watson, who's been starting in place of Aaron Gordon, is running the floor. Nicola's, there's a handful of guys in this league that are just tremendous outlet advanced pass guys, and Nicole is one of those guys. So he throws into triple coverage. We're able to get some easy ones. But yeah, it's been a positive for us, and hopefully we can continue to find ways to score in transition. But right now we're a one-way running team. We do a great job on offense, sprinting, and then we jog back a lot of times on defense. And that can't be the case. You got to be able to sprint on both ways.
Coach, when you're talking about the elements of defense, you just mentioned getting back. Is that the number one priority tonight, or is there something else? Defend the paint, of all those things that you've mentioned, what's like number one tonight?
Well, for me, it's transition, because that's where your defense starts. The minute you shoot the ball, you should be, having multiple players sprinting back to protect the basket. And that bleeds into the paint. So those are our two biggest concerns right now is transition, not getting back. And that's not just on misses. That's turnovers. That's made baskets, the lack of communication. There are multiple times where we're back. We just don't point, talk, and match and communicate. And then we leave guys wide open. And then if you can do that, now you give yourself a better chance to guard the paint. And tonight that'll be a challenge. Without those guys I mentioned earlier, Lowry and John, Colin Sexton, Keontae George, those guys are, quick. We did a really good job guarding them in Denver earlier in the season, which had a big part of us winning that game. But now you worry about the shooting. They got Johnny Juzang, who I think is a tremendous shooter, sent the ball last night in the second quarter, went off. So they have multiple players that are shooting the ball really well. But, yes, get back in transition and go from there.
Have you guys and Vlatko reached a decision yet on kind of the best path forward for him?
I know he's been seeking multiple opinions from a lot of people and talking. I do believe that he's narrowed it down and probably ready to make a decision here any day now. And as I told him, whatever decision you make what's best for you, and I'll support it 1,000%. I feel awful for that kid, because every time he gets a chance to play and plays well, it seems like he continues to get hurt. So we'll support him in any way we can, but I don't think a final decision has been made, and if it has, I haven't been made aware of that, and I wouldn't be the one to make that known publicly.
Some of your individual pick and roll defensive numbers are really different than they were a year ago. Any thoughts on, is it overall scheme? Have you changed something, or is there any reason for that?
No, obviously within any game, you look to do different things depending upon who you're playing and the personnel that they may employ. But, in our base, we're still trying to do the same things. We've had relative success doing what we've done, but one thing I know is that this league is always changing, and there are always trends, and there's always different things. So you have to be aware of that and try to get ahead of that so you're not reacting to everything. But, Nikola, the way we use him, I think he's really comfortable guarding the way we guard. And I don't know if your numbers say they're good or bad, but I just know that we finished 8th in the NBA last year in defensive efficiency, and we're not even close to that right now. So a lot of room for improvement.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.